pal Dom here, checking in with some very important updates. Some really interesting happenings happening. Lots of happenings. Yeah, it's been a record bedazzlement, let's say. There's been many different opportunities to discuss records and own new records and splurge on some records. I have been posting about the Angry Mom, the shop where I work at. Jazz auction, the second run of items is now up. Some really incredible records in there. I bid on one record that I don't have home with me. And I bid on many records on the first week of auctions, and only one won. I was happy to get that one. I'll show that one in another video. But I want to show you guys and gals the records that I bought from this collection that didn't go to auction. Now, George, the owner, was kind enough to let myself and the rest of the staff go through and see if there's things we wanted. Because the records were on consignment and we didn't own them, it sort of made the pricing a little tough. Being that, number one, consignment, so he couldn't be too, he had to be less generous than usual. Number two, the condition's amazing. Number three, right now the prices on jazz records are soaring. However, I was able to pull aside a good batch of amazing records that I just didn't think I'd see again. A few are common, but the others not so much. The good news is, I didn't pay a cent for these. The bad news is, I traded in a lot of records that I like. But I don't think I'm going to miss any of them, frankly. All good stuff. Stuff that had value that I didn't necessarily need. And trade is good for this record store too. So no cash was spent. However, the value that I traded for was pretty high. So I'm going to show you what I got. I haven't listened to all of them. This is one right now we're listening to in the background. You can hear it. Prince Lasha. It's called Firebirds Live at Berkeley Jazz Festival. It's Volume 2. Recorded in May 1974 on the Bird's Eye label. I love this label. Prince Lasha, flautist, also I believe a sax player as well. Yeah, he's playing Barry soprano sax on this. We got Kenneth Nash on African percussion, Roy McCurdy drums, Hubert Eves piano, Ron Carter bass. This one was not terribly expensive, but not cheap either. 1975 on this one. So that's what we're listening to. I'm just going to go through what I got. The Pharoah Sanders Quintet on ESP. This is not the earliest pressing, but an early one. I believe the earlier ones don't have this text here. This song is on the ESP label. See, show some wear in a nice shape. There's the alternate cover that is like the white cover. I like this cover better. And this has these really cool custom ESP labels. This is stereo. I've seen this record one other time in the store, but I didn't get it. And I probably should have gotten it then, but I haven't listened to that yet. But I do know that record. This one I haven't listened to either, and I've never heard. This is Norman Connors. This is the cheapest one of the bunch. This is a great looking. I haven't heard it, but look at who's on it. Herbie Hancock, Gary Bartz, Cecil McBee, Stanley Clark, Air 2, Eddie Henderson, Carlos Garnett, Billy Hart. Norman Connors, a drummer who I follow a little bit of and just love his style. So this is from 1972 on the Cobblestone label. The Jazz Vinyl Tag, I was sheepishly had to admit I didn't have any contemporary albums. Well, that changed. I got this Ornette album. This is not the first pressing. Tomorrow was the question. This is from like the 67, 68 pressing. All of this collection, all the records. Ooh, this needs a clean. This needs a clean. All the records are from like in this collection from like 66 to 74. '73. So you'll get Blue Note reissues from that era, but then also like, you know, some originals that came out at that time. So it wasn't much of this collector wasn't much of you didn't go backwards too much, or just that, at least that wasn't there. But here's a beautiful record on Impulse, Archie Shepp, The Way Ahead. This is a really nice shape. So this one had to pay. Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't pay for these, but just trading at a very high price. But the good news is, because all the records I looked, a lot of stuff I had I haven't looked up, and things I traded in had way more value than I thought too. So it worked both ways. What a beautiful cover. Haven't heard it yet. I'm just starting to get into these. Here's another pretty cheap one, Cecil Taylor Quartet with Air. This is not the original cover, featuring Archie Shepp. They added him in there on this later cover. It was on the Barnaby label. This is a radio promo. This is a pretty big one. Sonny Simmons on ESP disc. Staying on the Watch, with Teddy Smith on bass, John Hicks piano, Marvin Patillo percussion, Barbara Donald trumpet, never heard of her, and Sonny on alto. This is from '66 on the ESP label. This is a white label there. Haven't heard this yet. These next few I have heard. I've been on a Don Cherry kick, and I was able to pull aside some Don Cherry records. You Part 1, the first part. This is the duo with, who's the percussionist again? Great. I love the images. This sounded great. I did listen through this one. Ed Blackwell, drummer. It's the BYG Actuel label. First French edition. Beautiful gatefold. Of course, you can imagine what I'm going to show next. You, second part. Don blowing away over there. And Eternal Now. This is the Antilles edition. I'm starting to get some of these crystal clear sleeves, by the way, folks. I'm digging these. But this is the Antilles edition, not too expensive. With Bernd Rosengren, Christian Bothan, Agneta Ernstrom, and Bent Berger. Beautiful album. Here's probably the biggest of the batch. There was definitely some Strata East titles, and I had to grab this. Clifford Jordan in the New World. This one I've listened to, and it's in great shape. I'm really happy. We have Clifford Jordan tenor, Julian Priest at trombone, Don Cherry on part of this, on trumpet, Wynton Kelly, Wilbur Ware, Richard Davis on bass, Al Heath, drums. Yeah, part of this is split. On side 2, you have Kenny Dorham, Roy Haynes, and Ed Blackwell. Side 1 is where you get Don Cherry. Wonderful modal record on the Strata East label. You know, again, what I traded for this was on the very high end, but I was just happy to be able to get these records without having to throw down cash. I just didn't want to have to do that. So I just figured it was a opportunity to really own some records I didn't know I'd ever see again. So the Purge I had that was really robust is now much smaller, but I do still have some stuff to go through. And the last one is Giuseppe Logan Moore. Now the interesting thing here is that this is not the record that was in the auction, or that was in the collection. The price I got on that, I felt like I could do better than this online. So I actually got this from a seller online, and I just listened to this last night. It's a live recording, by the way. I believe it's at Town Hall. But the price I got this was half. This was way more in my price range than what I was going to have to trade for. Don Pullen on piano, Milford Graves drums, Reggie Johnson, Giuseppe on various reeds, flute and piano, Recorded 65 at Town Hall. I love this cover. I just stared at this for a while last night. So anyway, yeah, I ended up getting this for half. But it's like a $60 album. That's what I paid for. However, the seller sent me the edition I didn't pay for, which is a quad edition. And I paid for the first, which was, long story short, it's like the same. It sells for about the same. And I decided not to be hard, like a pain in the butt about it. It's a quad, but I don't know that that's going to matter all that much. Somebody told me if I'm wrong. Playing my quad on my stereo player against playing the regular edition. I believe, like, my Sunrise Spaces the Places that way. I think you're not missing anything or losing anything. Somebody help me. This is a wonderful live recording now, very avant, very out. And there's one other record. I'm gonna save that one because that one, it was the one I wanted the most. It was as soon as I saw this record, I'm like, oh, I gotta take this one. Everything else I sort of I hemmed and hawed a bit and I thought about. However, that record, I will reveal what it was in another video, in a heavy wants fulfilled record video. But that record, George, the owner, took. He's not collecting much jazz these days, but this record was a different kind of thing, so he grabbed that, and that's more than happy for him to grab some good records too. So, in any case, I ended up finding a copy of that separately. So those are the scores, or those are the records I pulled out of this collection. I will be bidding a little bit on this next run to see if I can get stuff. And that's the thing, if I let a lot of these go to auction, yeah, I might have been able to get some of them for less, but maybe not. Maybe some would have been more, maybe some would have, maybe I just would have lost, you know what I mean? So it was like, to get them before they go to auction, you kind of have to pay a higher price. But again, I didn't have to pay anything, so that's the jazz stuff. The next part of this video is a thread response, sort of. Well, it is a thread response from Mazzy. He's always finding interesting topics, and I like this one about single edition or single disc live albums. It's easy to find double with it. I'm not a big collector of live albums, but I do have more than I think. However, most of them are double records. Like there's a few Hawkman in Search of Space, or Hawkman Space Ritual. That's a double album. Flying Saucer Attack album I have that I love is a double album. So I'm going to show some things that hasn't really been shown. I could pick Neil Young for sure, but Sherv showed him, Mazzy showed him, so I'm going to move into some other things. Some cool live records. This is like the best live recording of the 13th Floor Elevators I've heard. Now this is part of the box set, the Music of the Spheres box set, just the vinyl box set. That's what I have for all my elevators, by the way. I don't have any originals. Those have just gotten excessive. I had a chance at one point to buy the first album for like $60. It was just, the condition was, it was a VG-ish, and I was like, you know what, a $60 VG album, I'm not really into it. I probably would have grabbed that going back on it now, but in any case, this live record in California, fall of '66, great quality. That's the key on this. Great quality on that. I just played through some of these. Here's one by a band, I was just watching a video by the Omaha Introvert Hannah. She showed a Liars album. This is the only Liars record I have. I have a different Liars, I have a bunch of their records, but this is the LYRES, Boston Garage Revival. This is live at Cantones. I think it's radio broadcast, so it says. This is a great garagey, just rock and roll band. Heavy organ sound. Jeff Connolly, the singer and songwriter, plays the organ. And this is a great represent. I think I like this better than the studio albums. You have Don't Give It Up Now here, which is sort of their big song. They did Let's Talk About Girls, a Chocolate Watch Band song, right? Yeah. And great live album. Here's a seminal band, one that every time I listen to this band, I'm like, why don't I listen to this band every day? This Heat. This Heat. This is from their live 80-81. The quality on this, unlike the Elevators, is not amazing, but it does capture everything they committed to this heat, the self-titled album Deceit, Health and Efficiency. It captures what they were trying to do, which was creating avant-garde punk music, really. But doing it in these shows, this live setting, is incredible. This is the crazy, gimmicky, limited edition wax version. This is the Modern Classics Light in the Attic label. Charles Bullen, Charles Hayward, the two Charleses, Gareth Williams. Just really cool to hear what they were doing live and hear them pull off what seemed like something that couldn't be pulled off. This is from various shows in 1981. Horizontal Hold is their sort of, I think, key signature track. Alright, so this next one's maybe cheating a little bit. Nah, not really. It's a double album, but only one of the records is live. So, before I tell you about what that record is, I just changed the record to This Heat. So we're not playing some of the live album. But the double album that is actually one live album is, of course, Maguma. Side B, or disc 3 and 4, is the studio album. Side 1 and 2 is live. Birmingham and Manchester Colleges of Commerce, June '69, recorded at Mother's. I love the version of Astronomy Domine. I mean, it's just, it sort of captures what they did in the original and then sort of stretches out. Careful with the Axe, Eugene. Wonderful. And the second side, they sort of bliss out a bit. You get Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, Roger Waters track, and then the Saucer Full of Secrets, sort of sweet. Everybody knows this record. This is a US original on Harvest. I haven't listened to this in forever, but I was happy to pull it out and hear that live disc. And the back cover, talking about back covers, I love this image. Carm, his back image thread. Boom, I should have picked this one. I love seeing all the instruments lined up in this English countryside. This next one's a soul record, a live record, single disc live record for Mazzy. I showed this in a soul video with Shirley Ellis in action. I won't talk about it too much. This thing just cooks. She cooks. She's just got all the spirit. This is on the Congress label. Mono recording. Good quality too. Shirley Ellis is a great soul singer. Here's a pretty new release. Now it does include a bonus 7-inch, but it's really because I think they just couldn't fit everything on the single disc. And it's the fall live at St. Helens Technical College. I think I did talk about this, so I won't show it too much. Great quality on this one. Here's a band I've not talked about before. I like all of the records, sort of capturing modern psychedelia and garage and sort of lo-fi and bringing it all together. Tim Presley is the main songwriter behind it. He's been in a bunch of bands, including the Strange Boys. He actually spent time in the fall. Many projects. He's done stuff with Ty Segall and his band White Fence. Now, this is part of a series, a Live in San Francisco series, which is on Castle Face. The only other one I have is the OC's one. This is great though. It captures sort of what he was doing, and it's like 4-track settings in a live, in front of people. Recorded straight to a Tascam 388, live in San Francisco, White Fence. I believe this is some wicked wax. Now it's just straight black. Some great images of them there. And my favorite of the bunch, maybe. I was listening to Mr. Hayward, I believe it is, Charles, This Heat. The Wipers, 1982 live. This was Record Store Day. Again, the title that... Actually, this did pretty well, but maybe one that nationally there was probably tons of these around. 1982 in Portland. Greg Sage and the Wipers. This is like, the quality on this is fantastic. And it features like some, they're like best songs, really. Alien Boy you get on here, Dimension 7. No Youth of America, my favorite. Heart on Fire, Pushing the Extreme. I'm not going to do that. What am I doing? Let me just run through all the songs for like 3 minutes. Great live record. This is 3 or 4 years old now. Alright, those are my live records. My last piece of this video, part 3, is for Sherv. I really enjoyed flipping through records on the floor. I like how he said, you know, any ridiculous collector. We try to organize things as much as we can, but I'm sure a lot of us have records on the floor. And I'm like, I do. I didn't always, but lately I have. So I'm going to show you the records on the floor. I'm going to cut here so you can see that. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. Some records here. I got a pile over there, and I got a pile on the other side of the room, which I will show. This is all stuff in this bin that I've listened to at least once, but I still want to hear again. So here we go. This is a great folk album, sort of avant-garde-ish, psych folk-ish. Bob Brown on Stormy Forest. Ingram Marshall. I played this on my latest radio show. Recommendation. Well, yeah, this one I discovered after getting the other one, and this is really great ambient classical stuff. A Chris Cole recommendation. Mad Music Inc. Really dug this one. A strange sort of curio from the late 70s with a really cool label. Look at that. Some psych folk out of the UK, 1972. This is actually quite great. Sunbeam reissue, Synesthesia. I think I showed this, the Gravity Adjusters Band. Still listening to that one. Pulled out Elizabeth Cotton. Folk songs and instrumentals with guitar. Just an amazing folk singer. No comment on this. I got more to talk about on that. An amazing New Zealand group, the Gordons. More to talk about on that. Haven't talked about it. I have my copy of the Damned on stiff. This is a John Dwyer, one of his more recent improv records. This is the crazy colored edition. Some cheap psych, a little bit second rate here, but good. Recommended by Mr. Psychedelic. Good recommendation. Windsor for the Derby. I just grabbed this on the after Mr. Stunty showed it. I really love this band, and I love Trans Syndicate, so I grabbed it. Pretty cheap. Has a flexi too. Speaking of this heat, Camberwell Now EP collection. I picked up this Cheap Straubs album from the Witchwood. Pretty solid. Almost purged this, but decided to keep it. The Soul Survivors. Almost purged this Pete Townsend album, but I decided it's good. I'm keeping it. Is that Ocean record I showed? The other Ingram Marshall, Fragility Cycles. Yeah, this one I showed on Opus 1, Randall McClellan, and Joel Shadabe. One I showed before, Slum Party. Comus, still trying to process that one to keep from crying. Just grabbed this. I got more to talk about on this. And Sally. Beautiful live album. Ross Michael with the Sons and Daughters of Negus. I almost purged this one, but it sounds quite good. And Briggs. This classic folk album, super expensive. Just a nice reissue of that. Pharoah Sanders Elevation. I've talked about that. Talked about that. I've talked about that. My Bitter Funeral Band. Yep. These are all ones I've shown. Mount Waldron. Fahey. That's the very first album. I think I think I posted this on Instagram. Blind Joe Death. Sten Bloma. Charles Wright. This is called Warm Waters. This features the Beach Boys. I gotta talk more about this. This is on Cap. Sorry, I said Charles Wright. Charles Lloyd, the jazz player. This is great. Marvin Pontiac, aka John Laurie. These Asylum tapes. Really strange, but wonderful stuff. I'm going to talk more about this one, hopefully. Entering the Dragon. This is a recent reissue, Keith Hudson classic. When Josh Shall Come. The other Bitter Funeral beer. Few I've shown. Pascal Comlade I've shown. Bob James Trio have shown. I've got my Herbie Hancock album, Miwandishi. It's Crossings. Matching Mole. It's on Columbia, or CBS, UK. This is one I need to check out again. This is a strange sort of biker rock private called $27 Snap-on Face. Just a chance, just tried this out. There's another Fahey original. I'm still trying to figure out this Nico thing. I'm going to be listening to the stereo and mono and comparing. Oh boy, this one's going back a bit. Black Country New Road. Koichi Oki Recital. We've talked about that. I have my copy of Parish Hall out on Fantasy. This is a promo on that. Good record. Maybe a little overrated, but I like it. Got this really good deal. Its cover's not in the best shape, but pretty solid. The record's beautiful. Uzeda I talked about. Great Italian post-punk group Image. CA Quintet. I scored this finally after just ignoring it for some dumb reason. Gail Garnett album. This is old now. My copy of the... I got this a few months ago. The Headhunters 45 RPM. And same with this. An album I know all too well, but I decided to get the nice edition. Haven't opened it yet. Okay, over here I have... This is stuff from that Discogs chance I took. So I'm working through these separately. This box is the pandemic box. I'm leaving that alone. So these I did show at some point. I'll just go through these quickly. Yeah, I showed these in that video when I unboxed them. I have listened to some of them. I'm working through these slowly. Yep. A little Imagine there. I don't think that Imagine's in the best shape. It's probably going to have to... A few I've kept and a few I've traded away already. And let's go over here. There's this heat. Now these two piles, these are the last two piles I'll show for sure of here. These are Purge piles. Now, the one on the right here, I still have to listen to decide if I want to keep. This pile I've already decided I'm purging. So these are on the chop. A lot of these I'll probably keep. I have so much Sun Ra. And these are some of the reissues that I gotta listen to them again. I mean, I can't imagine getting rid of them, but I'm full. But I love, love all these records. Am I gonna play them? That is the question. This one I remember being quite interesting. Sun Embassy. This is cool. I think it's my least favorite Mike Cooper album. Sort of a steel string folk ambient player, but just really interesting. Check out him, Mike Cooper. He was a UK folky, but then he started making sort of tropical ambient soundscapes like in the last 10 years. Really interesting. Except this one I think is the one I have like 2 or 3 other of his records, so I might not keep this one. It's a good garage punk band, the Fresh and Onlys, really good. This I'm probably keeping. This is with Kim Gordon and Lydia Lunch, Harry Cruz, but I gotta check it out again. I think it's on Homestead. There's a band called The Muslims, a punk band. It's just a plain cover with holes in it. Jeffrey Novak on Trouble in Mind, I think it is, yeah. This I pulled out to here again. I don't think I'm getting rid of it. Telefunken and Flying Saucer Attack. I'm a big collector of Flying Saucer Attack. This is... Cop Killers. I got into this from Daniele Cellini. This is like industrial, like UK tape stuff. Gotta check it out again. 3 records by Luxurious Bags, a sort of New England-based noise, punk, indie rock. These are good. Maybe not great. Maybe not keepers. I'm probably going to get rid of this. I do dig it. But this is... I don't listen to it. Lydia Lunch with Wallace Howard. Thurston Moore. Honeymoon Red. This is the original pressing. And this too, this 12-inch. Don't know if I'm keeping that. First Sound album. Post-punk Cure type stuff. Really dark on the Kurova label. I probably want this. I need to hear it. A lot of this is like, I need to hear these things. This is another sort of dark, punky indie rock from the 80s, The Sleepers, Painless Nights. Their singles and their 45s are way different than this LP. And that's kind of why I'm pulling out. I need another listen. This is some San Francisco, like, Residence-esque post-punk. I believe there's some association with the Meat Puppets on this. Oh, well, yeah, they do a song by the Meat Puppets. Performed by the Meat Puppets, yeah. This is good. It's the original pressing. I think this was reissued from 1981. Do I need it? To be determined. And I'll just show you real quick what I have so far. It's definitely going. This is a bunch of psych. Yep. These would be sold. I am going to sell this, but I love this album. I think I want to hunt down a better copy. Kim Fowley. Good psych record, not great. It's going to go on Mercury. Paupers. This is just too namby-pamby, but decent psych folk. Yeah, I tried it again. I don't know. Everyone loves these H.P. Lovecraft albums. I just don't. I can barely get through it. It's weird. It just does not do it for me. Sorry. I don't know. Someone will love this album. It's in pretty good shape. Not amazing, but pretty good. Solid, funky, soul, swampy, sort of psych. Interesting. Not great. Second Fat Mattress, I'm keeping the first. Just second rate all the way, Earth Opera. Don't need this. This is the Khan Jamal Drum Dance to the Motherland. I think I have a friend who wants this. I'm only getting rid of it because I have 2 copies. It's one of my absolute favorite albums, so. But we'll see. These are 2 like Swedish avant. I forget even the names of these bands. 1617 and I'll get back to you on that. And then 2 Cure albums, mid-period Cure that I just don't. I love the early Cure up through Pornography, but these 2, the Top and Head and the Door, I don't feel like I need. All right, those are my piles on the floor. Scanning up at another shelf here. Over to the seat. Thanks everyone. Hope you're doing well out there. Shout out to all the people in the VC plugging away, talking records, having fun, and just appreciating music, doing what we do, even though it sometimes seems to be a ridiculous exercise, but we love it, don't we? All right, take care, everyone.